I want to comment about the latest observation of Rigiji of Rigiji. While he was leaving the hospital, to me he appeared healthy. He appeared to have had enough rest. But one thing I noticed that he appeared okay. But one thing I noticed is that he had a hoarse voice, like somebody who has been over shouting and whatever. But knowing that uh, he was in the hospital and he was not mixing with the people, and doctors were keeping away visitors, and unless it is the near family. Then I noticed that hoarse voice is a sign of illness. So he was recovering from an illness and he was yet to recover. Otherwise, health wise he was. And I noticed that his family were close by, expecting that he could collapse at any time. But apart from the hoarse voice, I think he was okay. I also saw that he talked about doctors telling him that it is good that he was rushed to hospital. If he would have delayed for 20 minutes, we would be talking a different thing. Well, let me talk on that aspect because I want to be open-minded. Uh, the 20 minutes is when he was supposed to start addressing the Senate. So it is something that was well placed. And as I've said before, I have high regards for Dr. Gikonyo and Karen Hospital. So it becomes a bit hard to challenge things like that. But then I ask myself, while he was still in the hospital, even looking at the way he was talking, the voice he had and whatever, it meant that he still needs a lot of free time to rest and such a thing. But then the funny thing is that even when he was in the hospital bed, he was making inquiries from helicopter people to take him to Kwale. Is it also possible that he was discharged on his own insistence because he wanted to go to Kwale? Now I think this is a thick-headed person, because if the doctor tells you that if you would have delayed, okay, let us look at the things from an open mind. Here you are saying that the doctors told you that if you'd have spent 20 more minutes, you would have things would have been different. Now you yourself again you want to and you see this is not a sickness that was coming. He was there. He was in the National Assembly. He was in the Senate. He even offered to stand in the Senate. Then the sickness just came abruptly out of the blues, out of the blues. And then the doctor tells him that this sickness that has come out of the blues, if you'd have delayed for 20 more minutes, we would be talking of another different thing. And even with that information, he still inquired from helicopter people if he could board an helicopter to Kwale. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know whether there is any other hospitals out of Nairobi that is on the level of Karen Hospital and Nairobi Hospital. I don't know whether there is. Maybe there is. But then, being told by your doctor that if you'd have delayed for 20 minutes, things would have been different. You are still in that window period. You have not fully recovered. And you are still in the hospital, you are still in the ward, but making inquiries from private helicopter people that you want to fly to Kwale. It talks a lot. This fellow must be a thick-headed person who doesn't care about anything or anything. And he's somebody who would look for a fight. He's not somebody. Imagine risking your life. A doctor, not just a doctor, Dr. Gikonyo telling you that on that day, if you would have delayed for 20 minutes. Now, if such a thing reoccurs when you are in Kwale, assuming that the impeachment was not there or anything, and you are told by your doctor that, you'd even send apologies and tell the president to announce that because of ABCD, you could not. But then you put that aside, you inquire about that. Then the other thing is, how sure are you that the president ordered the private helicopter people not to fly out? You see, they have told you that, so you have trusted that. Maybe they didn't want to, especially, let me tell you, people with the strong wills, people who don't listen to other people's advice, you tell them such a thing. Because when you say the president has said that, maybe you are using that to do ABCD. But then, all in all, it was unwise even to think of even to think uh, of going to such a place, because being evacuated by an ambulance helicopter from Kwale to Nairobi, it takes between 60 and 90 minutes. Let us take it that it takes 60. If it takes 60 and the doctor had told you that if you'd have delayed for 20 minutes, you'd have died, you still don't value that. The other thing he made reference to Matiba. He said he wanted to go Matiba way. I remember there was a certain debate, presidential debate, which was going on in the America, and somebody was trying to talk about John F. Kennedy. And the other one told him, I worked with John Kennedy, I interacted with John. My friend, you are not John F. Kennedy. Matiba is not you. Matiba made a lot of money through his own sweat and whatever. I can say that among the billionaires in Kenya, I'd be very sincere to say that among billionaires in Kenya, both political and non-political, very few people can claim to have gotten their money the Matiba way. Matiba's money is clean. Actually, politics is the one that spoiled him. And then trying to say that Matiba got a stroke because of BCD, no. What caused Matiba stroke is this. There is something that was in Matiba that made him believe that he knew that Moi never took advice from anybody. But somehow Matiba thought that he had the privilege, the unique privilege that he's the only person who can tell Moi to his face things, whatever. Where you find everybody's fearing to say, you say, but since he listens to you, go and talk to him. So Matiba, one time, and he saw these things and he ignored, like the rigging that happened in Moranga. And the rigging that happened in Moranga was very funny because it was alleged that he had failed and whatever, and somebody called Jidrafu is the person who took over. These were the days when a farmer in Othaya he allegedly floored the vice president, Mwai Kibaki. When the press went to the farmer to ask him, you mean you campaigned and defeated the vice president? He said, no, I didn't even offer myself as a candidate. You remember Kibaki saying, even rigging needs some akili. And then the then PC Central told the farmer, just like people are usually, if you lose an election or you fail an exam, they tell you, face life like that. There is always next tomorrow. No, accept and move on, isn't it? Yeah. If you have lost an exam, If you have lost a dear one, if you have lost an election, they tell you life is like that, accept and move on. So this fellow supposedly won against Kibaki. He was told to accept the win, not the defeat, the win and move on. So that is what Nani went. But what caused Matiba the stroke? Remember when Matiba was detained, he was doing some practice, warm up. He wanted, I think, to climb one of these highest mountains in the world. So somebody was physically fit and whatever. And I remember when I visited, recently when I visited Muge family in Pioneer Eldoret, I arrived at around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I met people in Eldoret running at 4 a.m. in tracksuits. So you find that such a person, when he or she is placed in a cell, not communicating with anybody, he does not move whatever, it affects him psychologically and physically. Another thing is Matiba used to stay in castles, have big houses. Now he was placed in the cell where there was, instead of a mattress, there was a blanket. He had only 2 blankets and whatever. So that is what affected Matiba. But I can say, being a Kikuyu, I would say that his mentioning the name Matiba is not in good faith. He is just trying to raise up tribal feeling. I don't know. Somebody should tell Gachagua that even at this time, you still want to to wipe up tribal feelings. It will not assist you. It will not assist you. Uh, it appears that Kikuyu land is now going to be a swing state. It's going to be a swing state whereby the Kikuyus will ask themselves in 2027 whether to vote for Mutharaka. For those who don't know, Mutharaka is part of Meru, just like Maragoli is part of Luhya. So I don't know whether they'll accept to vote for Mutharaka or Mukamba, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So Kikuyu land has become a swing state. There was a walkout during the Mashujaa Day in Kikuyu land, especially something when it came to reading the president's speech, but it was too little, and in 3 years, people will have moved on. I wanted to tell people the meaning of Kwale. Kwale, there is birds called quail, and kwa Kiswahili zinaitwa kware. So in Kimijikenda, Kwale is those quail birds. You can see the sitting arrangement that was made there. Nani did not have a flag, meaning that he's neither a minister nor a DP today. But what I can say as of now is that Rigathi can delay the outcome, but definitely he's going out.